Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Andre, and today we're going to talk about PostgreSQL, arguably the workhorse of the internet. Pretty much every app uses it, right? But here's the thing, securely accessing your Postgres database is often a huge hassle. We've all been there, VPNs, shared passwords, no audit trails. It's kind of messy. But it doesn't have to be this way. And in this video, I'll show you how Border Zero makes accessing PostgreSQL databases easy, secure, and transparent. So let's dive in. Let's take a quick look at this diagram. On the right, you can see our PostgreSQL database, securely tucked away in a private network, maybe your own private VPC in Amazon or customer network or something like that. And you can see it's sitting behind NAT and maybe various firewall rules. So it's nicely isolated from the internet. This database holds the keys to your kingdom, so protecting it is critical. Now on the left, we have our user who needs access. And so the goal of this demo is to give this user secure, frictionless access using just their VPN or single sign-on identity so that it will feel like this database is sitting right underneath their desk, fast, easy, and secure. So let's jump in and see how Border Zero makes this possible. So as a first step, we create a new database resource in the Border Zero portal. And creating a new database socket is literally a few clicks. So we'll go to sockets and add a new socket of type database. In this case, PostgreSQL. We're using our own server. We're giving it a name. Postgres seems like a great name to get started with. We need to provide some upstream information. So where does the Postgres server live? In this case, Postgres-internal, which will resolve to the private IP address of this Postgres server. And then obviously we need to provide it some upstream authentication information like a username and a password. We can use information from parameter store or secrets managers as well, but in this case we'll use static information. We'll link it to our AWS connector, and that's it. Boom. Just like that, our database is now accessible to our users in my organization using just their SSO credentials. Seriously, that was just a few seconds. All right, so now let's jump back to my desktop app and we'll open the Border Zero desktop app. And here we can see our newly created socket. It tells me, hey, which Postgres client would you like to use? You have a few. And in this case, I'll use the PSQL CLI client. And as you can see, at no point was I asked for credentials. This is all facilitated by the Border Zero VPN, essentially. And so I can just log in with my VPN identity. And so we can do our work as normal. Let's query something. Now let's also maybe try and delete something. Now, as you can see, this is denied because of the policies that is attached to this. And as my user, I can only view data, read only. All right, let's try this again. Maybe now I'll use the Border Zero web client. So we have a fully functional web client as well. So let me drag in my browser here. So as you can see, this is essentially access to that same private Postgres database, but I can use it just from my browser. And this essentially runs a full VPN in the browser, allowing me to use my desktop or even my phone to access that same database and do my work. Now, finally, let's maybe go back one more time and find one of the other visual clients. We'll go here and let's try Table Plus maybe. Yeah, same thing. So I'll launch that. And you can see basically you can use any of your preferred client. We have some quick launch options, but really any client should work. And so hopefully it's very clear, super easy to access it for me as a user using just my single sign-on identity. One click and I'm in. All right, so that's what it looked like from the client perspective, the end user perspective. You could see it was super easy for me to quickly discover everything I had access to and all the quick launch options, right? So now let's switch gears back to the admin portal. As you can see here, I'm in the sessions page. And here I have a quick overview of all the sessions through the platform, allowing me to see exactly who accessed what, when, from where, etc. So let's click on a session to see the details. And I will click the session where I use the PSQL CLI client. And again, I can see exactly which single sign-on identity accessed the server using which device and from which IP address. Furthermore, if we scroll down a little bit low, we can see all of the queries that were being executed. Now, in that simple demo, I only did 3 queries. I think the first one was /-dt. And that shows you all the tables, but you can see under the covers that actually expands to this longer command. So you get all that visibility here. I think next up we did select star from directors. You can see that. You can see exactly how many rows were returned. And finally, delete from director where ID is 1. And you can see that the platform denied that query because my role only gives me read-only access. So here you can see admins have full visibility and control, empowering them to manage database access securely and confidently. So to recap what we saw today, we saw how easy it is to provision PostgreSQL access in a few seconds in the Border0 portal. We then accessed our database seamlessly via our desktop app and the browser. We saw how I launched access and started it using PSQL as well as some other visual database tools, and the browser was also a really nice experience. And in all of those cases, we were never asked to enter any shared password. We were just logging in with our single sign-on identity. So that's just super easy and also more secure. We also saw how we enforce granular policies, like in our case, read-only permissions through our identity-based controls. So remember, I was trying to delete something that failed, and that's because I was in the wrong group. The group that I was in has only read-only access, right? So you can be super granular in the level of access. And most importantly, admins gain full auditability and visibility into every action. So not only could they set the permissions I have, they could also see exactly what happened. We saw that session log. So you could see exactly what queries were executed by which user, at which point in time, from which device, etc. So with Border0, you don't need to sacrifice security for convenience. It's super secure, it's frictionless experience, and it's designed around how developers and engineers actually work on a day-to-day basis. They can just keep using the tools that they're already used to working. No more juggling VPNs or shared passwords, etc. Just do the work you need to do, and Border0 helps you keep your data safe, your teams productive, and your compliance teams happy. So, ready to simplify Postgres access? Hopefully you saw how easy it is, and we invite you to try it today and give it a try for yourself. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.